name is Shift.
And we are very excited to bring to you the first game today. We have up first London RollerDerby, London Brawling up against the Stockholm RollerDerby All-Stars. Shift, who have we got skating for London today?
Skating for London RollerDerby today in black we have 004 Swan, 08 Party Pants, 112 Cat Straighter, 12 Bothwell, 1236 Match, 1393 Texas Heat, 18 Ellis, 2 Cat Piss Never Clean, 237 Camera Rat Attack, 27 Alley Cat, 37 Valks, 4 Delta Strike, 474 Wolf, 56 Dixie and 9 Beth Lord.
So we have already kicked off this morning and Delta Strike is your lead jammer for London and Roller Derby. Just before we get you to the action, just going to run through the Stockholm roster very briefly. We've got number 10 Rainbow Spite, number 13 Fright Day, number 164 Izuaho, number 20 Smackdan, number 25 Vagabondage, 2626 is Coco Shul, number 4 is Foxen, number 530 Slender Woman, 55 is Fury, 57 is Lan, 614 is Tractor, number 70 is Frankie, and number 817 is Scandi Crush. So first points up on the board.
So the first jam here, we've got a lead jam for London with Delta Strike taking the jamming spot. They're coming through for another pass there, so that's another 4 points it looks like from the jammer ref.
So first a star pass of the game. All right, Delta Strike making short work of that Stockholm wall. Another 4-point pass there going up for London Brawling and Delta Strike. I hope you're all nice and awake this morning because we have so many games going on today. We have 5 today and 5 tomorrow. And everybody is excited to see these two teams coming back together again.
This is the first time London Brawling London Roller Derby have hosted an event of this type since the stoppage of the pandemic. So everyone is super excited today.
I believe that people who had tickets for Anarchy in 2020, those tickets are being honoured here because it's the first one since the cancellation. So yeah, everyone.
And being treated to a jammer recycle all the way back to the front of the pack there on the very first game.
There we go, that's fantastic. Okay, so that was a 2-minute jam to start the day. And London Brawling, another 3 points up on the board on that last pass. So London Brawling taking the first points of the day with 19 points up against Stockholm at 0. We've got Ellis lining up on the jam line for London Brawling, and I think that's Coco Strul.
Yeah, 2626 Coco Strul for Stockholm. And I think that's going to be a London lead. So black lead.
Star Stash from Coco Strul. Not sure whether the intent is to pass or simply confuse, but Foxen has the pivot, and there we go. Foxen, really nice, sneaky star pass. Comes up on the inside, takes the star from Coco Strul. Foxen is out and eligible to score with the star on the head. So Ellis restricted to a single scoring pass on that one.
Doing a nice little shirt whip up on the inside there.
Foxen, one of the stronger jammers for Stockholm, gets really low, gets the points, very sneaky. Very similar in skating style to... I've completely blanked. I've absolutely blanked.
That's fine. I think we're having an official timeout, possibly to fix the track. So
excellent.
We've got time to get our brains back in gear then.
Lil Slinky was one of the absolute stars of Stockholm and Team Sweden, obviously. Foxen, very similar in skating style and in Foxen's ability to rack up the points as well. Short and low. Okay, we're about to... Not quite. We're almost ready to get back on track again. So while we have a little bit of a pause, let me tell you about Gendered Intelligence. London is partnering with Gendered Intelligence for this event. Gendered Intelligence is a registered charity that works to increase understanding of gender diversity and to improve trans people's quality of life. They're trans-led and trans-involving grassroots organisation which runs training campaigns and support services for trans and gender non-conforming people.
So we're really, really proud. London are really proud to give them a platform here at Anarchy. So check out their website at genderedintelligence.co.uk. You can also make a donation on their website, or keep an eye out for a QR code on our stream adverts in between the games. We've got.
So we started that jam with the London pivot in the box. Everybody is now out of the box, I believe, and we've got a full complement of blockers and jammers on track.
You've just cursed it now, you realise that, don't you? It's going to be a slew of people going to the box. Anytime you say the penalty box is quiet, that's when it fills up. The announcer's curse. Okay.
Looks like we've got a very long pack here. Everyone just keeping it just in play. The jammers pushing hard. Stockholm looking to stretch out the front. London trying to push the back forward.
So this is the longest we've gone so far. Obviously, we're only in jam 3, but we have gone 1 minute and 10 seconds without anybody getting lead. So it looks like Stockholm maybe have the measure of London a little bit better in this jam. They're forming their walls more effectively.
There was some last-minute changing of who was going to jam for London in that timeout, so perhaps there's been some strategic decisions made. So people have got a measure of each other in the first few jams.
London have... It was Slender Woman managed to push one of the London blockers out of play. They had to come back and recycle, so allowing the pack to get stretched out further and further. And a penalty at the front of that pack allows Slender Woman to get the first lead of the game for Stockholm All-Stars. Slender Woman coming around for a first scoring pass. Catstrader with the star in hand now. Whistle's going there. I'm not sure who that forearm was called for. Oh, it was one of the blockers.
So that's Party Pants going to the box for London.
Okay, that's fine. That was a blocker penalty rather than a jammer. So the first points on the board going up for Stockholm. 3 points being indicated by the jam ref.
I think we're going to be starting with a power jam to London. I believe that is Dixie going to be taking the star for London for the power jam here.
What was the penalty?
It wasn't. It was rescinded.
Oh, it was rescinded. Okay. Okay, so that was a penalty that was called erroneously. It was rescinded immediately. So we do have both jammers up on track.
We'll have to wait a little bit longer for our first power jam. Power jam start.
So I'm not sure what this delay is for at the moment. We're having an official timeout. But it gives us a little bit of time to run through the officials for this first game today. And just as I say that, the whistle goes. There we go. Never mind. We'll run through the officials at the next pause in play. Okay. So we've got Dixie for London up against Larm from Stockholm. Larm making good strides at the front of that pack. London getting pushed out, and Larm is clear of the pack first. London's but picks up a forearm penalty, so Larm is on the way to the penalty box. So this will be our first jammer penalty of the game.
And London quickly switching from defence to full offence to try and get Dixie out. They're going up the outside, they're out.
So lead jammer status going to Dixie on London. Dixie coming around for a first scoring pass. And Stockholm with 4 blockers on track, trying to make it as difficult as possible for Dixie to get through. Last line of defence there from Foxen at the front. Foxen forced to recycle back behind. Dixie still running into trouble with that London wall, or with that Stockholm wall, I should say.
And we've got a goat situation at the back of the pack. London trying to hold a Stockholm player, number 5-7, Larm at the back.
That was an excellent penalty kill from Stockholm.
So the Stockholm jammers took the star off and came out and forced the call off on London.
That was a really good penalty kill from Stockholm, managing to get that wall together and hold all the way through the jam.
So shall we run through the officials before we get started again?
Let's do that. Do you want to do this non-skating?
Yep, so the non-skating officials, we have X-Ray Ted, Hissing Hellcat, Swearwolf, Clusterschmuck, Hannah, Says Who, Kato Sklim, Dorian Gray, Jack, Jessasaurus, Emery of the Stats, and Blockness Monster.
And on skates we have McFarlane, Razor, Shugs Bunny, MK, Lucas, Pyrie, Emily of the State, and Kaitsa Soze. Thank you very much to all our skating and non-skating officials this weekend, because without you, this could not happen.
So we've got Smarton jamming for Stockholm. Lead has just gone to London, which is Delta Strike.
Smarton with star in hand. This is very much a tactic of Stockholm, and it's come to bite them a couple of times, especially at Euro Cup. Jammer will remove the star quite quickly, and it's happened a couple of times that premature removal of the star has prevented a lead from getting awarded.
I think it's when you're in training and people say to you, the minute you're not lead, take the star off, and it becomes instinct.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure it does, but we certainly saw at Euro Cup when Stockholm last played London, there were a couple of star removals that have had adverse effects for the team.
If you're unlucky, the jammer that has been awarded lead then gets the lead rescinded because something happened before then, and you've taken the star off, you've lost your chance.
Exactly. It's a double-edged sword. Okay, so up on the jam line for London we have Wolf, and for Stockholm it's Coco Struhl again, I believe.
And we have Swan starting from the box, 004 for London. So at any point now we'll probably be having a full complement of blockers on track. Currently the London wall is holding at the back to release their jammer at the front, so that's lead to Wolf for London.
And Scandi Crush, the powerhouse at the front of that pack, picking up the penalty there, making that wall a lot less effective for Stockholm. So Wolf is clear on a first scoring pass.
Stockholm opening up the inside there, the jammer switching, looking laterally, seeing which lane is open.
Scandi Crush, one of the most experienced and strongest players on Stockholm's team, of course, has been playing for, I don't like to say how many years.
Well, I believe they started with the London Rocking Rollers, is the facts I have in front of me. So they've played across different countries, different continents, a lot of experience in that player.
Coco Struhl still with star in hand. I don't believe we haven't had a star pass. Coco Struhl still has the star but is making no progress at the moment. Wolf currently 2 scoring passes in the bag on a 3rd scoring pass at the front of that pack. Pack's getting more and more stretched out. Stockholm's wall holding tight at the front.
Yeah, Iso Aho marshalling that wall at the front there for Stockholm. Really taking charge and trying to hold that as long as possible.
Lovely bit of offense there from Swan coming in to disrupt that Stockholm wall, allowing Wolf to get through and pick up another 4 points.
I believe that's Coco Struhl off to the penalty box there just before the end, with a penalty from the outside pack ref.
So we're going to be starting with the second power jam of the game. Is that a timeout that's been called? Yes.
Yes.
Team timeout.
That's a team timeout to Stockholm.
So while we have a team timeout, keep an eye out for London Roller Derby's next fundamentals intake. So that's going to be coming up soon. Follow London Roller Derby on all the socials for further information. The next fundamental session is going to be on May the 7th. That's really soon.
May the 7th, 2 days after Star Wars Day.
3.
3.
So it's at Bridge Park Leisure Centre in Stonebridge. Fundamentals train weekly. No experience required, but you will need to sort your own kit, although there will be bits that you can borrow. So in this game so far, we have had 6 jams. London have had 5 out of 6 of those leads. But
we have 22-7 Alley Cat starting in the penalty box for London, and the Stockholm jammer, Coco Struhl, also starting from the penalty box. Wide, flat wall there starting on the jammer line for Stockholm. quickly reshaping with some reverse blocking there, trying to hold the jammer back.
So it's Catstrader with the star for London, manages to squeak past the inside of that Stockholm pack just on the pivot line, picks up lead jammer status within about 12 seconds, I think, which was pretty good because Stockholm were getting it together.
Wonderful stop there by Fright Day, number 1-3 for Stockholm, but then taken off track, sadly, so didn't get to keep that position.
Coco Strul is back out of the penalty box, but low block being issued. Was that to Coco Strul?
I believe that might have been one of the London Brawling skaters.
Yes, so Coco Strul is still on track. Can't quite see the camera angles covering the whole of the track here, so sometimes we need to look off to the side to see exactly what's happening. But Coco Strul cleared that pack. It was a good penalty.
So that was Kama Ratatak that got that penalty in the last jam and will probably be starting from the penalty box.
We have an official review being called by London. So we'll be able to find out, I believe, what the details of the official review are going to be. There we go. So exciting times here, kicking off the first game of this Anarchy 7 weekend.
Yeah, first official review of the weekend.
First official review of the weekend. I like to think that when they hold up the O shape, they're going, ooh. Ooh.
So the officials now moving away from the bench coaches, captains and alts, talking with each other about what they've seen. They will be discussing what they've each seen, trying to piece together their information and see if they have enough information to either call or no call what's being queried.
How often do we see, would you say, what's the percentage of official reviews that actually result in a changed decision?
I think it definitely varies game by game. Having a bench coach that has previous experience as an official really can help, or a bench coach who can speak rules ease, if you know what I mean. Having the language to be able to quickly and concisely say what you want, where it happened, makes such a difference. But if nobody saw it, nobody can call it.
If nobody saw it, nothing happened. If a tree falls in the forest
and the ref didn't see it, then
does it get a penalty? Possibly not.
Definitely not. So roll back from the pivot line there by both teams. Your jammers for this jam are Ellis and Slender Woman. Fantastic work there at the front by Beth Lord to hold that Stockholm jammer back, letting the London jammer Ellis get through there to get lead jammer. Slender Woman has removed the star.
So I have some information on what the official review was being called for, which is quite interesting, an official review being called this early in the period. London was seeking an insubordination penalty to be issued to the Stockholm jammer for removing the star, but no call remained.
So they were asking for an insubordination for removing the opposing team star.
That's right.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. I don't think I've ever seen an insubordination call being requested.
It is in the casebook, and it's a very smart choice by the bench coach to call that if you think somebody has seen it.
Unfortunately, in this case, nobody saw it, and they've lost their review.
The tree did not fall.
The tree did not fall, and there's still 17 minutes of the period to play with now no official review to fall back on. So what do you do when you have that situation happening? You put Delta Strike on the jam line, that's what you do, and Delta Strike is out and has lead 9 seconds.
I have a feeling with this shirt whip here, we might be seeing Stockholm chasing down that jammer, though. Yep, 5-7 Larm for Stockholm is now out and chasing down Delta Strike.
Delta through on the inside line, picks up those points and calls the jam before Larm has a chance to score. So Delta Strike has 100% lead status, which is not really surprising because London have had most of the leads in this game.
And Delta being quite an experienced skater.
And Delta being quite an experienced skater. There's a lot of experience on the Stockholm team as well.
Yeah. Fun fact, Larm means alarm in English.
It's Good to know. All right. Smarton with the start for Stockholm, I believe.
And then that's lead for London with Dixie popping out the front of the pack. They're at the inside line with a beautiful little hop round one of their blockers.
Dixie coming around for a scoring pass and takes the inside line again on the toe stop, sneaking around, calls the jam before Smarton has a chance to score. So we're seeing a considerable lead being brought up now by London Brawling. We haven't mentioned the score so far, but 68 points against 4 points. Only one single, two jams, I think, Stockholm has scored in. 3 in one and 1 in another. And with 15 minutes left to serve in this half, that's quite the lead to have to try and overturn later in this game. So we'll see what that brings a little bit later on if Stockholm can pull their defence back together again. So thanks to our producers, it was a single jam that Stockholm scored their 4 points in. It was jam 3. They racked up 4 points. Coco Struhl is clear of the pack, picks up lead. Jam status for the second time in the game for Stockholm. Kat Strader is also clear of the pack and approaching for a scoring pass. So Coco Struhl calls the jam before any points are awarded to London. So is that 4 points?
I think it's 4 points.
Hard to see when the referee's hand is sideways on.
It's 3 points.
It's 3 points. 3 points. There we go. Okay, so Stockholm putting another 3 up on that board.
There was some lovely blocking there in that last jam by Rainbow Sprite from Stockholm, really holding people back, putting the brakes on, and then marshalling their players into a really tight wall around the player that they were holding back, trying to let their jammer out the front. That seems to be a tactic we're seeing a lot from Stockholm, is that they are trying to hold the goat at the back of the pack to release their jammer. It's worked a few times.
Another star pass.
Ooh.
By Stockholm. That was textbook. Very nice, over the top. Very, very effective star pass. Foxon taking the star again.
So unfortunately, only that one pass there for Wolf. Wolf probably would have been looking for a 2-minute jam there. I know they love to skate. Not going to be happy going back to their seat on the sideline there.
So only 2 points by Brawling on that last pass.
But a very smart call off. So we've got 2 players in the penalty box, 1 from each team. So both teams will be starting with only 3 blockers on track to stop their opposing jammers and help their jammer through.
So with just under 13 minutes left on the clock in this first period, we have Delta Strike with a star for London up against Larm for Stockholm.
Who now has lead, so that's a lead for Stockholm.
And that's a jammer penalty being issued to Delta Strike. So we have...
There goes Delta Strike's 100% record, I'm afraid, for this game.
So Larm in a power jam position. Scandi Crush coming back to knock a hole in that London wall.
Fighting their way through, Larm there, getting recaptured, but they have made it through.
There was some really nice scrambling there by Valks, getting back in front of the jammer after the jammer stumbled slightly. Valks coming back forward and being that last line of defence again. And Stockholm are goating again. You're right, that does seem to be kind of their dominant tactic. Delta Strike is out of the penalty box and back on track. So Larm had put 4 points up on the board. Delta Strike still with that initial pass to complete as Larm is on a second scoring pass.
Larm is struggling there to get through past Party Pants and Camera Rat Attack with that wall at the back of the pack. I'm
moving the furniture up here by accident. If you hear things collapsing around me, it's my clumsiness generally. All right.
If there are any budding officials out there looking at the officials in this game and trying to study their moves, if you want to take a quick look at the jam ref Shugs Bunny, they're taking a little squat down to look underneath the players, probably looking for multiplayers there or potentially forearms in the middle of the pack. Very difficult to see unless you can adjust your viewpoint.
And that's another reason why I am the kind of volunteer that sits in the stands and watches the game rather than...
Oh, but it's the best seat in the house, being on skates next to the action. It's absolutely brilliant.
So Larm calling that jam as Delta Strike was clear of the pack. So just checking to see how many went up on the board on the second scoring pass. And all 4 points. No, 3 points. So Stockholm almost, yes, actually doubling their score in that last jam. So well done to
They've doubled
Larm.
their score. They've broken Delta Strike's unbroken record. They're really starting to strengthen out there, starting to figure out their opponents and find ways through that London wall.
And up next on the jam line for Stockholm, we have Smartan. And that's Ellis with the star for London.
So we've got some offense going on there from number 9 for London, Beth Lord. The London jammer Ellis now out, coming round for points. Pack very long. Ellis up the inside line for some quick points there. That is an destruction penalty perhaps being issued by the head ref McFarlane there.
So Smartan in the pack now, blocking for Stockholm with the star gun to Foxen.
And a direction penalty being issued by the inside. A London player going to the box. Oh, I believe it's been rescinded.
Oh my word, okay. Foxen's currently sitting on 4 penalties, which is concerning for Stockholm because they do rely on Foxen. 4 star passes to Foxen. 4 star passes to Foxen.
Foxen so going one-on-one there with Texas Heat at the front of the pack, now being reinforced by Beth Lord in the pivot helmet cover there.
This will be a 2-minute jam as Ellis had lead before going to the penalty box. So, oh no, Ellis still has lead.
Stockholm out of the pack and coming around for another pass. Ellis deciding, no, that's enough for me.
All right, so just wait to see if any more points went up on the board there for London on that last pass. 15 points to London Brawling, 8 points to Stockholm.
Another fun fact, Smartan means the pain. I think it's a fantastic derby name.
Rainbow Spide is very happy to be back in London. And the reason is so that they can stock up on Vegemite. I don't know if Vegemite, but I didn't realise that
I'm not going to touch
Stockholm
the whole Vegemite, Marmite. I'm not going there. I have too many friends on both camps.
I didn't realise that Sweden was a Vegemite desert.
No, I didn't realise either.
Mind you, I don't spend a lot of my time thinking about Vegemite because I am not Australian. All right, so we're about ready to get back underway again, it looks like. And that's Coco Strul with the jammer star for Stockholm.
Looks like we've got Kat Strater coming in as the jammer for London for this particular jam.
So of those 85 points up on the board for London Brawling, Delta Strike has racked up 28. And out of the 22 points for Stockholm, Foxen has racked up 8, which, considering Foxen didn't start with the star in any jam,
yeah, and
pretty good points for a pivot.
Also, if you look at Delta Strike, they were 28 points. That's enough to have actually put them in the lead on their own.
That's true, yeah. So Smartan.
Oh, it's a jammer foot race. Pack speeding up.
And Kat Strater definitely with the advantage on that one, takes the inside line and picks up the points as Coco Strul still struggling.
Yeah, Coco Strul's blockers there had to abandon giving the offense and go into defense mode to stop Kat.
Kat Strater was approaching for a second scoring pass, so
we've got some big smiles there in the penalty box from the non-skating officials. It's good when we see everybody having a good time taking part in the roller derby.
So on that last jam, even though Stockholm had the lead, 3 points went to Stockholm, 4 points to Brawling. That is Slender Woman with the star for Stockholm. I think that's only the second second or third time in the game that Slender Woman has had the star.
By comparison, they're up against Dixie, who's been a very successful jammer for London this game. Was being held at the back there quite successfully by that Stockholm wall, but then did this beautiful pirouette jump and got themselves lead.
It's very athletic for this time on a Saturday morning on a bank holiday weekend. So 3 more points going up on the board for London Brawling. London Brawling now within touching distance of 100 points.
So I believe that's 3 jams out of 3 for Dixie that they've got lead there. Fantastic work for that jammer. They'll be smiling as they go off the track.
That's what we like to see.
I like to see smiles at, I don't know what time o'clock in the morning it is. It's too early. Too early o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
On a bank holiday weekend. And there we go. We have Delta Strike, who's through the pack first, picks up lead jammer status for London. And a little bit of jammer on jammer action as Delta holds back Alarm. But because Alarm managed to edge out Delta Strike on that last.
I believe we've got an official review happening for Stockholm.
Oh, we have an official review. Ooh.
Gather the zebras.
Ooh. Okay, so we'll get a little bit of information in a moment as to what that official review is calling.
To explain official reviews to all you out there who are watching RollerDerby perhaps for the first time, both teams are able during the half to call an official review, to ask the officials to review any particular officiating decision. They need to be very specific about what they want done and where it happened, etc. And the officials will then go off and discuss, see if they have enough information, and if they're going to then say, no, the call stands, or they may decide to change the call. Ideally, you want to choose a call to challenge where you think that perhaps there were more eyes on it than maybe the one person who perhaps called it, or you ask for a penalty to be issued which you think should have been issued and wasn't.
I would say probably in my experience, I think it's probably about 80-20, 80% decisions are upheld and 20% decisions are overturned on official review.
Yeah, often if something hasn't been called, it hasn't been called because it hasn't been seen. And if it has been called, it's been called because it definitely has been seen. But you know, we are human, and there's a reason there's 7 people out there in stripes. Roller derby, you could have 20 skating officials and you would struggle still to see everything.
Absolutely. I do kind of wish often that I had about 7 pairs of eyes when I was watching roller derby, especially when I'm announcing, because you tend to be focused on the jammer. You don't see some of the really cool stuff that some of the blockers are doing in the pack, and particularly
do you know, sometimes when things happen in front of clusters of the non-skating officials, such as the scoreboard table or the penalty box, that could be an absolute gift for an official review, because you've got so many more pairs of eyes on something. And obviously the NSOs, the non-skating officials, are also part of Team Official, Team No Fun, and they are absolutely entitled to give their opinion on what they have seen to the head ref and help inform those choices during an official review.
So we do also have another use of an official review, which is as a timeout. If you haven't had cause to use your official review to challenge a decision during the period, because you get 1 official review per period for each team. If you haven't had a call that you want to challenge, then you can use it as a timeout instead, and then you retain your 3
just
timeouts.
going to interrupt you there quickly to say lead jammer to London Brawling for Wolf. So Wolf is getting the extra track time they wanted.
Smerton with the star in hand.
Coming around, smiling.
Smerton is through and approaching for a first scoring pass.
So Wolf is going to want to get out now, otherwise I think they're going to have to make the decision to,
So a single scoring pass there for London Brawling. Just waiting to see what points go up. 4 points. 4 points on the board for Brawling. Held Stockholm to a 0-point jam.
So the big question is London going to break triple digits before half time?
Well, we've got 5.5 minutes left. We've had 18 jams so far.
Looks like we've got an official timeout coming there from the head referee. Stockholm choosing to use this official timeout time to gather, talk strategy.
have some information for you regarding the last official review. So we're going to start the next jam with the London jammer in the box.
That's Wolf, number 474.
So I believe the official review was requesting a forearm penalty being issued to the London jammer while the star pass was occurring. And that will be an upheld review because the jammer is now in the penalty box.
So I believe we've got Coco Stroll going to be the new jammer for Stockholm, starting this power jam start. We've got Spite, Scandi Crush and Foxen out on track, as well as number 1-3, Fright Day. So a very strong pack out there for Stockholm. They've successfully helped their jammer to get lead.
So Coco Stroll on a first scoring pass.
I believe they probably collected all 4 points there.
Wolf out of the penalty box and through the pack.
Now the question really is going to be, is Stockholm going to make this into a very long jam, rack up as many points as possible, or no, they've decided not to do that.
So Stockholm have had lead the last 3 jams. No.
Coco Stroll,
Coco Stroll has had lead.
the last 3 times that they've jammed. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank our absolutely fantastic production team up here who are keeping us filled with all the facts. Toot, off we go again. So
Toot.
we've got Dixie jamming for London Brawling, and I can't quite see the number on the Stockholm jammer. It's Slender Woman. So Dixie with the lead. Slender Woman doing the very quick star pass there to Foxen. We've already commented on how effective Foxen has been as a pivot in this half, and they've successfully forced another call-off on one of the very strong London Brawling jammers.
So a single point going up on the board to London. So Stockholm are making it as hard as possible. I was going to say absolutely London Brawling are going to hit 100 points by half-time, but Stockholm have held them to quite a low score over the last couple of jams, so we'll see. We'll see
It'll
how
be
it
interesting
goes.
to see how they come back in the second half, because both teams over the course of this half have been getting the measure of one another, have been tweaking their tactics.
And off we go. That's Ellis with the star for London, but it is, I think that's Smarten again.
That's 5-7. That's Larm.
Oh, it's Larm. My apologies, Larm. Larm approaching for a scoring pass. Ellis very close behind, so both jammers eligible to score. And I'm just wondering if Ellis managed to get that point on the way through.
Scandi Crush did try to open up the outside line for Larm there, but I don't think they managed to get as many points as they would have hoped. I think they were hoping for a very quick 4 points there, and it just didn't work.
So 2 minutes left. A little over 2 minutes, which means we might have 2 more jams, we might have 3 more jams, we might have 1 more jam in this period.
And Stockholm starting with Fury, number 5-5 in the box. So that player will be coming out in a moment to the back of the pack where their jammer is currently positioned. It'll be interesting to see how they manage this. Yes, I thought that might be what happened. So 5-5 with some fantastic offense there, but the jammer still becoming stuck in the middle of the pack.
Smerton with the star in hand. Foxen is behind, committed to that 3 wall at the moment, so Smerton doesn't currently have anywhere to go with that jammer star.
So a helmet cover there retrieved from the floor. You're allowed to do that.
And there we go, London have racked up those 4 points necessary to push them over the triple digits going into this half-time period.
And we've had a twirl. We've had our lovely twirl there from Wolf at the inside line.
And
4 points for the pleasure.
We have had a successful star pass to Foxen, but Foxen is still stuck in that pack. Knocked to the outside there by Beth Lord and forced to recycle.
And if anyone's wondering why they were allowed to come back on in front of 1, 2, 3, 6 from London there, that was a no pass, no penalty. For all you budding officials out there, that's the one where you pass your fingers in front, behind, in front, behind.
Looks a little bit like the hand jive.
Yeah.
So Foxen still struggling with the front of that pack.
Ooh, very strong wall at the back there from Stockholm. Brawling coming back to try and assist their jammer.
We still have 30 seconds left on this jam. It looks as though Wolf might just allow that clock to run down because Foxen's not out and scoring at the moment. Wolf's picked up another scoring pass, so that's another 4 on the board. There's 3 completed scoring passes for Wolf. 15 seconds left in the period clock, and the jam clock is about to run out. So we need somebody to call an official review or a timeout.
So we've got a 4 out of 5 lead average for Wolf there.
Whistle's going to go. There we go. So nobody's called a timeout to instigate another jam in this period. That is going to be our half time. So that was an exciting first half of a first game here today at the Crystal Palace Sports Centre here in sunny London, on the absolute most awkward part of London to get to from any other part of the world.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of stories about people's travel woes trying to get here yesterday, and hopefully nobody will have those problems today. The crowd now filling up here in the stadium.
So London Brawling taking an early and very convincing lead over Stockholm All Stars, starting with 111 points coming into that second half. So we're going to leave you in peace for about 14 further minutes, and we'll be back a little bit before the action starts in the second half. And we're ready to get back underway for the second half of this first game of Anarchy 7.
So just some stats here for you before we get started from the first half. Looking at the jammer points, we've got a pretty even split across Ellis, Delta and Wolf for London Brawling. Ellis on 30, Delta on 28 and Wolf on 28. And for Stockholm, Cockerstrawl has 9, Foxen never starting with a star, but all from star passes on 8, and Larm also on 8. And I've been informed that none of the jammers have more than 1 penalty.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
coming
as a
into
bench,
the second
that's
half.
what you want to see.
I mean, that sometimes is how teams that are kind of trailing a little bit make up some points in the second half, is when one jammer potentially that's scoring a lot of points,
yeah, has suddenly had their 5th penalty or something, and you have to think tactically about that.
And they have to rein themselves in a little bit.
We've also got some other statistics for you, you statistics nerds out there, because I know we exist.
There's a lot of statistics nerds in roller derby. They're called non-skating officials.
So in terms of lead, London have had 16 leads to Stockholm 6. Star passes, London have only done 1, but Stockholm have used 7. In terms of penalties, though, this is very interesting. Both teams on 15 penalties apiece. And in the power jams, we have 1 to London and 2 to Stockholm.
So it looks like we're about ready to get back underway. Jammers are lining up. It looks like Smerten. If I get that wrong, please excuse me.
And it looks like Delta Strike jamming for London. All the blockers on track. So a big pack to get through. First jam of the second half.
Bit of a scramble in the middle of the pack between the jam and the penalty lines.
Looks like everybody's refueled at half time.
Including myself.
So Smarten knocked to the floor there.
It's actually Larm. I've done that twice now. I'm very sorry to both of those players.
I'm always so proud when I try to get one of the names with the umlaut in right, and then you take it away from me.
Sorry.
Larm is also a very excellent derby name, though. Larm. I'd love to be shouting that with the jammer coming in hot.
All right, Delta Strike is clear of the pack, picks up lead jammer status,
Ooh,
and
another
we've had a
star
star pass. And this time to Scandi Crush. So Scandi at the front of that London pack trying to push them forward, drops back to do a little bit of defence.
I think Scandi looking for a bit of team offence there as well.
There was a truck-up penalty there being issued to one of the Stockholm players. Delta Strike clear of the pack on that first scoring pass before going up on the board for London.
I think that was a lead jammer, 4 points for Delta. Scandi seemingly decided defence is the order of the day. Let's shut down Delta Strike. And they've been effective.
Excellent. So 4 more points going up on the board there for London.
So we'll be starting the next jam with 2 Stockholm players in the penalty box, so only 2 Stockholm players on as blockers. One of them being the pivot though. London Brawling with all 4 players on the track. We've got Dixie versus Coco Stroll, one of the very successful jammers for Stockholm. Oh, and we had a faked star pass, a will I, won't I? No, I won't.
Won't you?
Oh. So Coco Stroll still with the star.
Big hit to the inside there from Scandi Crush, forcing Dixie to the ground and going back to behind the jammer line to reset.
2 very tight walls here. Bit of offence coming in there from Madge, trying to get Dixie through that pack. Both teams looking very strong in the second half here, in the first jams of the second half.
Dixie has 100% lead. Dixie, 5 out of 5 jams, has had lead jam status.
They're a very smiley jammer as well. I always love watching them skate because they're always smiling.
All right, this is Smerten with the jammer star for Stockholm.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Who's that for London?
That's
Ellis. That's Ellis.
Taking the outside line there, Ellis, and being successful straight up the outside, no resistance. Lead jammer.
I was sure Smerten was going to make it there, but she took a knock to the inside by Party Pants and was forced to reset all the way back. So Ellis hitting the pack on a first scoring pass, while Smerten was going back to the back of the pack on their initial pass. Ellis is clear on a first scoring pass, a 4 going up on the board there for Ellis.
So it looks like Kama Rat Attack there, taking the brace position and leading that London wall, holding at the back.
Really nice work there from Friday, forcing Ellis back.
Some really good work also by the London Brawling wall there at the front, making sure they stay within play. The last thing you want when you've got a really strong wall is to just go that 1 foot too far. Oh, very swift star pass there to Scandi Crush again. Looks like they're trying to make use of Scandi a bit more in this second half as the strong pivot that they are.
Beautiful pair work there from Rainbow Spite and Friday on the defence.
004 Swan, the pivot for London in this jam, playing some lovely, smart offence. It's not always working, but the opportunities they're choosing, very well chosen, I think.
So that was a good jam for London, putting up 12 points on the board. And that's taken London to over a 100-point lead over Stockholm for the first time in the game. So London sitting on 131 points and Stockholm All Stars on 29.
So the question now, being that this is the very first game of the weekend, is London going to throttle back and try and protect that points difference, or are they going to make a statement with this game? You have to think about the energy expenditure on a long weekend. But it is a home game. People love to really go for it on a home game. It's the first one for a very long time. It's very special for a lot of these players. And it's also special for them because they are looking out for gendered intelligence as one of their support charities for this event. And I know it means a huge amount to everybody here. They've got some absolutely brilliant T-shirts going on. I definitely got my eye on one of those T-shirts. I don't know if we can get hold of one, but very jealous of the T-shirts that London are rocking in support of gendered intelligence.
We do have Gendered Intelligence has a website, genderedintelligence.co.uk. You can make a donation on the website, or you can keep an eye out for the QR code that's going to pop up on the stream adverts in between the games or at half times. You maybe potentially might be able to pick up a T-shirt on that.
I'll have a word with a few people.
All right, Larm has lead jammer status for Stockholm.
Seriously great blocking there by Scandi Crush on the inside line, recycling Delta Strike to the back of the pack, feeding them into that Stockholm wall at the front. And she's out. Jumped right round on the outside line, cleanly.
So London's next game is later on today at 3 o'clock. They're going to be playing Toulouse. Stockholm's next game is not until tomorrow morning, but they have 2 games back to back.
Oh, that's interesting. So technically they've got more rest time, but they need to save more. They need more in their tank.
Exactly. So you're talking about, are London going to press ahead, or are they going to throttle back? Stockholm as well have a decision to make here about how much effort they're going to put into trying to hold London back at this point, or how much are they going to try and reserve for their 2 games back to back tomorrow morning.
I mean, 2 games at this level, that's intense.
Yes.
It can be incredibly intense depending on who you're playing and what tactics you play against each other and what the penalty count ends up being. So jamming for London today, jamming for London in this jam, we have Dixie up against Coco Stroll. Fun fact about Coco Stroll can mean both messing up and making out. Those of you who know my derby name and what that secretly means in Irish know that I think that's pretty cool.
What's your derby name?
Shift. I cannot allude to what it actually means properly on the stream. Did start out as tectonic shift though, I was into geology.
I see, okay.
But the double meanings are always fun, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Dixie forks to the outside there, pushed to the back of the pack. Looking for the offence, deciding no, I'm just going to deny Stockholm another pass.
So I lied when I said that Stockholm's 2 games tomorrow morning are back-to-back. They're not quite back-to-back. There is a gap in between. So their first game's at 9 o'clock and their second game's at 1 o'clock. There is another game in between.
We have a lot of cake for sale here at the venue today. I have a feeling that some of these players are going to avail themselves of all that sugar. I know I would.
Well, it's a tournament. I think you need to take your energy where you can get it.
Yeah, I mean, roller derby runs on cake.
Slender Woman with the star for Stockholm. Scandi Crush currently wearing the pivot. Not sure whether that's a stash or a pass that they're going for.
Some very dynamic walling there by London. And looks like Stockholm are going for the hold the jammer at the back tactic again, leaving their jammer to fight on their own at the front.
Slender Woman is clear of the pack. So star in hand. That was a stash rather than a pass from Stockholm. Ellis clears the pack on that first scoring pass, finally manages to get around that Stockholm wall and calls the jam before Slender Woman has a chance to put anything up on the board for Stockholm.
Very smart call off there by Ellis.
So 149 points to London Brawling up against 33 points to Stockholm All-Stars, with just under 20 minutes left in this first game of Anarchy number 7.
So I see 2-7 Ali Katang's on track blocking as the brace in the London wall. Don't think I've seen them take that position too often in this game so far. Going in for a wonderful jammer recapture there by Ali Kat.
That was fantastic. It was neck and neck coming up to that turn to see which jammer was going to escape the pack first, but Ali Kat with that block managed to get Larm right into a whole pile of trouble. And Wolf was around, clear of the pack, picks up lead jammer status and is eligible to score. Larm at almost a complete standstill at the front of that pack.
And Stockholm's Vagabondage was holding the inside line against Wolf for quite a long time there, denying them the passage up the inside line and feeding them to the outside blockers that had the reinforced wall.
Wolf taking points and calling that jam. So 4 more on the board for London Brawling. 120 points separating the two teams with 18 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, I like that. I like to see what Camera Rat Attack is doing there on the start line. I love a bit of owning your space. It's like, this is my space. This is my dance space. It's not your dance space.
So London have had 7 out of 8 leads currently in the second half. That's very much reflected in the score. It's a team timeout that's going on at the moment. No, it's an official timeout. We're having some track repair. That's what's happening.
Hush descends across the stadium. Everyone reaches for their water bottle because they haven't remembered to drink while they've been caught up in the action.
And it has been quite a lot of action. London just making more gains, just capitalising more on those leads. Quite a lot of jams are big multi-pass jams, but we've also seen a lot of kind of hit it and quit it, 4 points here, 4 points there.
One thing I have noticed in the second half is the difference that Scandi Crush in particular has been making for Stockholm. Really being quite dominant and playing basically every position.
Scandi Crush is an absolute legend.
A lovely little one hand down there by Fright Day. Down, up, I'm blocking you again.
Coco Struhl has the star for Stockholm, but it is Delta Strike. Oh no, Delta Strike picks up a penalty. Forearm penalty going to the penalty box. So power jam for Coco Struhl. Scandi Crush has the pivot, so not sure what Stockholm are going to try and do here. They're going to try and keep the star on the jammer, retain potentially the possibility of getting lead.
We've got
Stockholm,
quite a long pack again here.
Stockholm doing their usual trick of goating a blocker at the back of the pack. So Stockholm do manage to get their jammer out, but that was a good penalty kill there from London. They managed to hold the jammer back for quite a few seconds in that jam, and it allowed Delta Strike to get released from the penalty box.
And the pack speeding up, everyone going, no, you shall not have my point, you will not pass.
Coco Struhl is scoring.
Ooh,
hits
beautiful
the deck.
block there by 08 Party Pants.
Party Pants picking up a penalty for that block and on their way to the penalty box.
Obviously one of the refs had a view that we did not have. I believe that was possibly a forearms penalty. Looking at the information we've been given. I'm sorry, I didn't see the ref signal on that one.
So Coco Struhl taking 4 points in that game, in that last jam, but London Brawling also taking the 4 points. The highest score this period has been from Ellis, who's racked up 12 points in one jam, but the highest jam in the whole game was Delta Strike, picking up 19 points, and that was actually the first jam of the game.
So we've got Dixie versus Slender Woman. I think we've had this this face-off a couple of times today. on the whole, Dixie getting the better of it, and Slender Jam having to fight really hard. I think that must be very difficult on the old energy banks there. They'd probably be looking for a bit of offense from Frankie to get them past that wall at the front there. They're so close to getting out.
So this has been a big squeeze by both packs, shutting down those jammers. We've had more than 30 seconds gone with no lead jam being called. Party Pants, I don't think Party Pants has left the track in about 5 jams. Party Pants is just like constantly there.
Well, when you like to party.
So Dixie picking up lead jammer status there after almost a full minute had elapsed, but Slender Woman getting out around about the same time. Both jammers in a scoring position. Dixie takes the points and calls the jam. Just waiting to see how many went up. 2 points. 2 points for London. Slender Woman, no points there for Stockholm All-Stars. So currently stretching that lead, we have London Brawling sitting on 159 points, Stockholm on 37, and we have 14 and a half minutes left in this period.
A bit of conversation going on there between McFarlane and Shugs Bunny. It's always nice to speak to your official friends between the jams, confer what's working, what's not working. Are you okay? Have you remembered to drink?
Are you okay, mate? Ellis, clear of the pack, picks up lead jammer status for London Brawling, but Larm is also clear of the pack. So both jammers now in a scoring position. Ellis getting through that pack first and calls the jam. Did Larm manage to pick one? Larm managed to pick up 2 points. So 2 going up for Stockholm. Stockholm are very happy with that. 4 points. 3, I tell a lie, 3 points for Stockholm.
I think what's happening with the London jammers when they get out and come round super fast is it's just taking that second longer for the reform on the Stockholm walls, and they're ever so good at finding the holes in those walls, whereas Stockholm, as we pointed out earlier, they prefer to do team tactical moves, you know, goating together at the back, sending an offence to the front and putting a really strong wall at the back.
So if you were wondering how to play like London, you might want to check out London Roller Derby's next fundamentals intake. So it's coming up really soon. The next fundamental session is on the 7th of May. That's at Bridge Park Leisure Centre in Stonebridge. And you don't need to have any experience at all to come and play.
We should also say, if you're based in any of the cities where the other teams from these tournaments are, if you check out their socials, I'm sure you can find out how to get involved in roller derby. I mean, if you're not someone who wants to put on skates, there is definitely something you can do.
Absolutely.
Even if it's joining us on the mics.
Sit here and talk rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant.
It is.
Best seat in the house.
It really is. Okay, there goes the whistle. So jam 13 in the second period. We've got Delta Strike, who picks up lead jammer status 6 seconds into that jam. Slender Woman getting more jams in the second half than in the first period for sure. Slender Woman is clear of the pack as well, and both jammers are now in a scoring position. So Delta Strike takes the points, calls the jam. 4 on the board for London. So
we are on jam 13 in the second half.
and there goes the whistle. We've got Dixie with the star for London up against Coco Struhl, but it is Dixie who takes the lead. Another star pass there from Coco Struhl to Foxen. Foxen has the star in hand, stuck in that tripod wall of London's.
They really have got that down to a fine art, haven't they, the star pass. There was one earlier on done from behind the back. Absolute confidence that the jammer was going to take that and go.
There have been ones where the receiving pivot was in a slightly better position, though. So in this case, yes, Foxen took the star, turned round, and there was London
straight into a wall
right there.
But not dropping it on the floor, that's a start, I think, because a few of us, I know I'm possibly someone who's done it, you think this is the time for a star pass, you take it off and you fumble.
I have to say, in my whole roller derby career, I have never dropped the star.
How many times have you jammed?
Never. or played. I've also never had a penalty.
Now that's one to be proud of.
I mean, there's still time, right?
Foxon going to the box with the star in hand.
So a power jam for Dixie and for London. So 8 points already up on the board for Dixie in this jam. And now the only jammer on track. Dixie takes those extra 4 points, calls that jam, and that will allow London to start in a power position. Looks like Stockholm might be seeking an official review on this.
Yeah, they have two blockers and Foxon in the box with the star. And I believe I might have seen a penalty potentially being issued after the end of the jam on another Stockholm player, but perhaps that was actually an inside pack, a jammer referee going out to the outside and asking them, like, how many points did you see them pass?
Right, okay.
So that's 5 leads in a row from London. Who will be starting, I think, on a power jam start for this jam 14.
Just waiting to see what the outcome of that official review was. Presuming Stockholm are appealing against the penalty that was issued to probably their jammer.
I mean, that's the decision I would go for. I mean, bench coaches, if you've got the opportunity to rescind a jammer penalty, it's pretty high up on the list.
There's 30 more seconds that your jammer is on track and scoring potentially.
Especially if you've got if it's happened on a pivot turn jammer, who's been one of your most successful pivot turn jammers.
Triple threat.
You want to keep their legs fresh.
It's a lovely sunny day here at Crystal Palace Sports Centre. I'm Billy No Skates.
And I'm Shift, and if you're joining us for the second half, having missed the first half, well, you've missed a really great game so far, but there's plenty more still to come. London Brawling dominating, I would say, in this first game, but each team working out each other's tactics little by little and shutting each other down and forcing everybody to try new things.
We've got some great games coming up after this, by the way. So the next game coming up is going to be Rainy City against Toulouse. And then following that, Helsinki and Crime City. That's going to be kicking off at 1 o'clock. London RollerDerby are going to have their second game of the tournament against Toulouse. Their first whistle's at 3. And then Rainy City are playing again against Crime City at 5 o'clock. And that's the game I'm really most excited about today.
So the scores that have been added in this second half so far, we have 68 points versus 11. So a really big difference there. Probably reflective of the blocking tactics, I think, to be honest, more than the jamming tactics. The London Brawling blocking tactics far more dynamic and adaptable. Stockholm very, very strong, but sticking to a few particular styles. They did mix it up a little bit at the start of the second half, making more use of Scandi Crush as a triple threat.
Foxon out of the penalty box.
Scandi Crush there proving again why that was, shutting down the London Jammer as they enter the back of the pack. We've got a bridge there by Valks from London Brawling, keeping the London Brawling players in play at the front. The slightest move there and they'll be getting a destruction penalty, so head swivelling left to right like a tennis umpire.
Scandi coming forward to play some offense there for Stockholm. Ellis managing to, as soon as Scandi drops out of that wall, Ellis comes around.
With the takedown, forcing the London Jammer outbounds on the outside.
So we've had a star pass, now the star has gone to Scandi Crush. Foxon dropping back to defense and with a nice little takedown and recycle. Ellis not looking very happy with that. I think at this point in the game, with 42 minutes played, we're seeing people starting to get fatigued. It has been very highly defensive, so there have been a lot of very strong walls that people have been trying to push through. That requires a lot of strength.
That being said, and with the very large points difference we've seen, it's interesting that the penalty counts are incredibly tight still. I think it's 22 penalties to London and 26 to Stockholm.
That's pretty good for this stage in the game. I think it speaks to a certain extent, it speaks to the level of the game as well. But that's Larm picking up a forearm penalty. So a power jam to London is pretty much the last thing that Stockholm need at this point in the game, trailing as they are by 147 points.
To be honest though, when we're talking about penalties, the one penalty we have seen rather a few of is forearms.
Yeah, I think some of those forearms being potentially picked up in...
Could be impeding forearms, I think,
yeah.
In those tight packs or when the jammers are trying to pass.
How many different kinds of forearms are there?
Well, you can get your impeding forearms. So if I were to hold you back illegally with my forearm, that's an impeding type forearm. You've got the gaining advantage by use of forearms. So that's a common one for jammers trying to take the outside line, giving a little hop. I always like to tell my my learning referees, if you chop the person's arms off and the person will go through anyway, the forearm probably wasn't material. So imagine them like little Lego figures.
Right.
If the arm made the difference or not.
I see. I suppose that's a good way to look at it. A little brutal, but yeah.
Just imagining, that the arm was somewhere else. It was against the body. It just wasn't in the way. If they still hop round without the use of the arm, then it probably wasn't the reason they got past.
So Scandi Crush taking the star there. Another successful star pass from Stockholm, forcing the call off by London as both jammers were exiting the pack at the same time. London on a scoring pass and Scandi Crush for Stockholm on the initial. So London have had 8 leads in a row, and in the second half they've had 15 out of 17 leads, and that's pretty much reflected in the scoreline today. And we're about to get back underway. We've got Dixie with the star for London up against Smerten.
Stockholm making them work for those statistics though. Throwing some very strong, tight walls in front of the jammers. Nice
footwork there from both jammers. Dixie managing to make their way through the pack first, but Smerten coming through very quickly as well. 3 points to London Brawling. Managed to call the jam before Smerten had a chance to score.
Very busy jammer line there. There's not a lot of space for those jammers. They're going to have to make space or ask their friends to make them space.
So that's Larm with the star for Stockholm up against Ellis for London. Ellis clear of the pack first, picks up lead jammer status for London Brawling. Under 5 minutes now left in this game. I can't believe we've had almost an hour of play.
Like an hour of play already.
I'm sure it probably does if your legs are on that track.
One thing to remember though, the officials, they skate every jam. The officials don't go and sit down for a couple of minutes between and rotate in and out. They skate every jam, and the officials on the outside, they're taking the long way round.
And that's why I sit in the sound booth.
That's why my favourite position is front OPR.
Okay, so we've had the highest scorers. Ellis has managed to rack up 62 points for London Brawling. Larm is the highest scorer for Stockholm with 15 points. And up on the track at the moment, we've got Wolf, who is jamming for London Brawling, up against Slender Woman for Stockholm.
Okay, we've got a multiplayer penalty being issued on Vagabondage, who's off to the penalty box for Stockholm, leaving them with only 3 blockers on track to stop Wolf.
Frankie dropping back from offense to defense there, but didn't manage to quite hold back Wolf, who's through and has lead jammer status. Got a star stash.
This looks like an example of the type of star stash you were talking about, where was that necessary?
Not entirely certain it was. Where was the pivot? Quite a long way behind. But in any event, it didn't do any
It's
damage.
instinct. It's just
Slender
instinct.
woman.
You're not lead, take it off and run.
Yeah. So, 4 points going up on the board for London Brawling. London Brawling are over the 200 mark. And we've got under 3 minutes left in this game, so possibly 2 jams, possibly 3 if it's a hit it and quit it. And we're definitely heading into the closing phases. That is Delta Strike with the star for London. Takes the outside line and picks up lead jammer status.
Shirt Whip gets Lam past the back row of London blockers, who quickly reform in front of them. Camerata Tatak really digging in hard there to stop them, but it wasn't quite enough when their wall was disrupted. And
Shaka.
Valks assisting there very ably. Those two are a very strong pair at the back of a wall, I would say. I wouldn't want to run into that.
I wouldn't either. So the Stockholm jammer managing to get through that pack, forcing the call off from London Brawling. So we have less than 2 minutes left on the clock.
And we've got an official timeout. For once, this isn't for fixing the track. It looks like head referee Bex McFarlane is having a word with their officials and is about to go and perhaps
They're having a little
speak
chat
to the
with
scorekeeper
London.
table. So up next for game 2, when this game is over, don't go anywhere because we've got Nothing to Lose versus Rainy City Roller Derby. That should be exciting.
I'll be shouting a lot during that one. I love Nothing to Lose's name. It's just so beautiful. It summarises everything that's good about roller derby in one go.
I recently went over there to ref their men's team, and I'll tell you, they are fantastic hosts. Really looked after us the entire weekend, and the sun came out for the first time in a year. Absolutely brilliant weekend.
Very nice. And if you're also talking about fantastic hosts, we've got Crime City up on the 3rd game of the day. They'll be playing Helsinki, and they put on an
legendary host, Crime
absolutely
City.
fantastic tournament every time. I had the absolute pleasure of being there for Euro Cup in October.
If anyone is watching this officials crew and going, I'd really like to see them in action again, Bex McFarlane will be taking charge at Pump Up the Jam, which is in a couple of weeks. I believe you can see Razor perhaps at the Junior World Cup. We've got some absolutely brilliant officials here, and Shugs Bunny obviously, who took part in MEC, along with Emka and a few of the others as well. These refs travel, they take part in a lot of high level derby, as do the NSOs. We've got some fantastic experienced NSOs, particularly standing there in that huddle. You can see Hissing Hellcat, you can see X-Ray Ted, beautiful red hair. Everyone seems to have got their hair done for the weekend.
I've noticed you haven't spoken about the announcers that travel around for all of these fantastic tournaments as well.
Well, I've not had a chance to do that myself. I haven't travelled much for announcing, mostly doing home games. Hopefully it's on the to-do list, so shout out to anyone out there who would like a new announcer. Love to travel.
Have toothbrush, will travel.
Have toothbrush, have highlighter pen, will travel. This is one of the great things about roller derby. There are so many ways to get involved.
Absolutely. And when we say get involved, we mean get in for free. Oh, I'm giving away the secrets of the announcers. Okay, looks like we're almost ready to get back up. Number 55, Fury, who's playing for Stockholm, has managed to accrue 5 penalties during this. It's fairly rare, I would say, that nobody's fouled out. It's been a relatively low penalty game. Well, we've only got 1/2 jams left, so I think we're okay.
It's
to say
not
that
impossible.
At this point.
It's not impossible.
Larm with the star for Stockholm. Delta Strike is in the penalty box. So a power jam for Larm. That was probably the subject of the review that was happening, the officials' review. So Larm in a scoring position.
You can see Beth Lord there at the front reminding their teammate, don't grab me, no multiplayer, we need to hold this jammer, don't get a penalty.
So the jammer now being released from the penalty box, Delta Strike coming around to engage on a first pass. That was London's official review. There was an insubordination call on Delta Strike. That was why Delta Strike ended up in the penalty box at the end of that jam. It was an insubordination call. London challenged that decision and they lost their review, obviously, because Delta Strike went to the penalty box.
So Delta back on track now, having removed the star earlier on in this jam. Definitely will not be being lead jammer.
So Larm's picked up a penalty.
So this is a 2-minute jam.
This is it. That's the period clock gone. There we go. That is the end of that first game. So just waiting for those scores to be finalised on the board. But there can be no doubt that our winners today in this first game of Anarchy number 7 are London Brawling, our home team. So that was an absolutely intense start to the tournament. Are you going to be up for another 8 games shift? Are you going to be? Yeah. I'm exhausted and I haven't even moved, so I can only imagine how they're all feeling. London Brawling.
So the home team taking the first game with a very convincing win. You're about to hear the crowd go wild.
And the crowd are indeed going wild. Just waiting for that score to be finalised, but it looks like the final score in this game is 214 points to 43. And we're going to give you a little bit of peace and quiet now while the next game is getting set up. So for the second game today, we've got Rainy City RollerDerby up against Nothing to Lose. Following that, then we've got Crime City up against Helsinki. And then this afternoon, we've got Nothing to Lose against London Brawling. That's at 3 o'clock. And then the final game of the day will be Crime City against Rainy City. So 214 points. The score has now been finalised, 214 to 43. An excellent first game, some really, really hefty defence going on both sides. I think defence has been the name of the game today for sure.
Yeah, I mean the jammers often get all the glory, but this one was definitely a defence game to win or lose, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to give you some peace and quiet, and we're going to be back with you just before the first whistle goes at 11 o'clock for the next game, which is Rainy City up against Nothing to Lose. I've been Billy No Skates, thank you for listening.
And I've been Shift, and we will see you for the game later on today. We'll hand you over to our capable colleagues.